Hi guys, so today I'll be explaining to you all about class Chondrichtyes and Osteichtyes that come under chordata. So phylum chordata has these two classes. Very important points come under these and you have to remember them good enough. Your points need to be interlinked with each other and you have to remember it in a very good flow so that you can write an essay or even, easily clarify and easily get an answer for an MCQ. So there are very minute information that you have to remember under each classes and you have to interlink them with information in Unit 5, Applied Biology and Unit 3. So throughout this video, I'll be covering all the points and none of these points are going to be out of the resource. So trust the process and I'll be teaching you all how you can remember this. So firstly, we have class Chondrichtyes. So class Chondrichtyes, you have to remember examples as rays, sharks and skates. Then we have to mention about their habitat. So these are very common points like aquatic. And they have a fusiform body shape. Now this term fusiform comes under Unit 5 when it comes to the adaptations for swimming and all. But you can also mention the term streamlined. Then endoskeleton when it comes to chondrichtyes is going to be cartilage, predominantly cartilage. So if there's a MCQ statement like it's only cartilage, it's false. It's predominantly cartilage, which means chondrichtyes can also have bones in them. Then we move on to this picture that will be very helpful in remembering almost all the points that we have for this topic. So firstly, we'll start with the eyes. Now this does not have eyelids. So this is not a point that's directly there. So eyelids, you can even be questioned with a dichotomous key for this. And they don't have differentiated teeth. Only Mammalia has differentiated teeth. Then we move on to the scales. They have placoid scales. They are scales like this. And then you can speak about their caudal fin. Caudal fin is going to be heterocircle, which means it's not going to be symmetrical. The topper part is going to be larger and longer than the lower part. And they have fins for locomotion and balance. Now let's move on to the gills. So this order is very important. You move from the eyes to the teeth, then placoid scales and caudal fin, then the fins, and then we speak about the gills. Now we know gills are going to be there for respiration. So these people have internal gills. Internal gills are there, but they are not covered with any flap, any sort of flap, like you can see here. So these gills are going to be without operculum. Then moving on, they have internal gills, and after you respire, you're going to produce some waste products also, right? So these waste products we can come to the excretion topic here. So they have urea as a main waste product, and nitrogen excretion and osmoregulation is done by the kidney. Then we move on to the circulatory system. So they have a closed single circulatory system. So because it's a single circulatory system, the pressure is reduced. So they are two chambered, and because the low pressure is maintained, they don't have to put much effort to maintain high pressure. The metabolism is low. So we know when metabolism is low, the heat production also will be low. So because heat production is low, they cannot maintain the body temperature constant regardless of the external temperature fluctuations. So they are ectothermic. So now we spoke about the respiration, about the excretion and osmoregulation, then about the circulation, and then about the reproduction. So reproduction, there is males and females. So males are going to produce sperm as usual and females are going to produce eggs, and they undergo internal fertilization. So it's very important point here. Class Chondrichtyes is going to undergo internal fertilization. Then you have three types of ways in which the live young ones are going to be produced. So it's oviparous, viviparous, or ovoviviparous. So what happens here is if it's oviparous, they are going to lay the eggs directly out. Whereas if it is viviparous, they are going to lay the live birth. Live birth means like mammals, they are going to release a a creature out. Whereas when it's ovoviviparous, they are going to release the hatched egg out, like a partially hatched, it's not an egg, it's not a fully formed creature as well. It's going to be a hatched egg only. So these are the three main types, and out of these, some of them show oviparous, others show ovoviviparous. So there are some differences between class Chondrichtyes and Osteichtyes, and this is one very such important difference that's difficult to remember for most of the students. Then we know after you have the fertilization and the reproduction part, now they're going to release the young ones. So how are they going to release it? They're going to release it through the cloaca. Now let's speak about what's a cloaca. So as you can see this yellow chamber here. So this cloaca is going to be a common chamber to which three tracks are going to empty their contents. So what are the three tracks? The three tracks are going to be DER, deer. So you can remember it as a mnemonic. Deer is going to be emptied to the common chamber, digestive, excretory and the reproductive tract. So these three tracks are going to be emptied into the common chamber, and then this common chamber is going to open to the outwards. Now that's all that you have for class Chondrichtyes. So let's brush through the points again. We'll speak about the habitat, fusiform shape, endoskeleton, about the eyes, about the teeth, and then the fins, the caudal fin, the placoid scales. Then you have to speak about the respiration. After respiration, the excretion. Excretion, you have to carry out the excretory products to outside, so closed circulatory system. And then you have to speak about their reproduction. And finally, the cloaca. So this is it for class Chondrichtyes. Now let's move on to class Osteichtyes. So examples for class Osteichtyes is going to be carp, tuna and carangids. They are going to have an aquatic habitat. They are going to be in an aquatic habitat and their body is again fusiform, or you can even say streamlined body shape. And the endoskeleton is going to be of bones. So bones is going to be the main one. And then we are going to speak about the same order. Now, just like how I mentioned here about the eyes, the teeth, the placoid scales, fins, and the caudal fin, and then the gills, and then finally we come to the cloaca in Chondrichtyes, but here it's going to be the swim bladder. So initially it's going to be eyelids. They don't have eyelids, though they have eyes. They don't have differentiated teeth. And then they have fins for locomotion and balance. So I haven't mentioned it here, but obviously they have fins for locomotion and balance. They have homocircle caudal fin, which means it's a symmetrical fin. It's not like an asymmetrical one like you can see it here. You have to see the difference. It's a symmetrical caudal fin. And then you have ctenoid and cycloid scales. Now here they had placoid scales and here they have ctenoid and cycloid scales. Now what is the difference is that ctenoid and cycloid scales you might have seen in fishes. Small fishes have small scales, whereas big fishes have big scales, which means that their scales are going to grow with their size. When they grow, the scales are also going to grow. So with that, you can remember the point that these scales are flattened bony scales. When they are bony, they are able to grow. So they are flattened bony scales. And then you can say they have gills, just like Chondrichtyes. They have gills, but they have an operculum. An operculum is a special feature that you can see in class Osteichtyes. So this operculum is also a bony flap. So this operculum can also grow with size of the fish. Then they have the internal gills for respiration and then the excretion. So then you have ammonia, which is a nitrogenous excretory product. So you can see the difference that, class Chondrichtyes is going to excrete urea, whereas class Osteichtyes is going to excrete ammonia. And then when it comes to the circulatory system, it's going to be common to both of them. So that's why I have redirected these arrows here to come here. And then they have low pressure, two-chambered, metabolism low, ectothermic. Everything is going to be same. And then when it comes to the unisexuality, that's also going to be same. But there's another difference when it comes to fertilization. So class Chondrichtyes is going to have internal fertilization, whereas class Osteichtyes is going to have mostly external fertilization. So most of them show external fertilization, whereas some of them show internal fertilization. This is a good enough MCQ point as well. So there's another advantage of external fertilization. This comes under applied biology. So I'll be linking it here for relatability. So there's one external fertilization advantage is that when it comes to aquaculture, if the fish is going to do internal fertilization, you have no control over the propagation of species. But when it comes to external fertilization, you can control it and you can easily develop the aquaculture. So that's an advantage. And you can see for Osteichtyes, it's going to be oviparous, which means most of them lay the eggs out. So The difference in Chondrichtyes is that they have all three types, whereas Osteichtyes mostly it's oviparous. And then finally, just like we have the cloaca in class Chondrichtyes, you have the swim bladder when it comes to class Osteichtyes. So this swim bladder is going to be important in maintaining the buoyancy. So we know that when you have bones, your body is going to be overall, the weight is going to be great. So how does the class Osteichtyes, cope up with this and maintain that balance by having the swim bladder. So this swim bladder is going to allow water to come in and out and maintain the buoyancy good enough for them to swim through and maintain the balance. So that will be for the differences between class Chondrichtyes and Osteichtyes. So as you can see, you can remember it like a story. So first the examples, then the habitat, then the fusiform shape, endoskeleton, then the eyes, the teeth, then the fins, the two types of fins, and then caudal fin, the scales, then the gills, then you speak about the excretory system, then the circulatory system, then the reproduction, and finally the cloaca and the swim bladder. So this will be it for the class Chondrichtyes and class Osteichtyes. I recommend you to go through this again because I feel like I rushed a bit, but just to keep the video concise, I kind of like ran through the points. So I think it's better if you can go through this again and get the whole gist of it. And I think it helped you in some way in remembering all the facts related to each of these classes. So see you soon in another video. Till then, thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.